Hey guys, if you could do me a favor and open your EN to page 32, we're going to go ahead and get the day's lesson done so that we can not waste time and get our homework done in class on Tuesday. So, if you are on page 32, you're going to take notes with me as we go. We're starting by discussing two variable equations. So basically, a two variable equation is one where you actually have two variables. Pretty self-explanatory. Notice here, we have 2x plus 5y equals 8. Why don't you go ahead and write that down on page 32, and then I want us to notice that we have two different variables. We have an x and we have a y, hence two variable equation. Now, if I want a solution to a two variable equation, that is going to be my ordered pair, okay, so x comma y. If this is a solution to a situation like this, then we are going to get the correct answer. So, in your notes, let's go ahead and write down, number one, we are going to test this ordered pair. So we're going to say -2, 1, and I want to test it with this equation. So go ahead and write down in your notes, 2, 1, this is what we're testing, in 4x minus y equals 6. So let's hope this is true, and if not, it's very easy to figure out. This is my x, remember, x comma y, so this is my y value. I'm just going to substitute it in. We have 4 times my x, -2, minus, make sure to copy everything down exactly, y. Well, what's my y? 1. So, all I have to do is calculate and hope I get 6. 4 times -2 is -8. And then I'm bringing down -1. I don't have to multiply anything else. -1. So let's see. Is -8 minus 1 6? I don't think so. -8 minus 1, if you were to use a calculator, is -9. Is this a solution to this equation? No. Okay, so we could put a big X, or we could say not a solution. Was that pretty simple math? Okay, so let's come over here. We're going to use the same equation. Notice 4x minus y equals 6. So now in your notes, all we're doing is we're changing our coordinate point. We are now going to test 1, -2 into the equation. Maybe this one will work. Okay, all we have to do is substitute. 4 times, what is my x point? 1, minus, remember you have to write the equation exactly, whatever my y is, well my y in this situation is -2. So be sure to put that in. If it is already minus, I'm going to write another -2. All right, now all we have to do is calculate. 4 times 1, 4, and then minus a minus. If you remember my rule, we left the first thing, we changed it, and opposite. Otherwise, you could use your calculator, it'll give you the same thing. If I have -2, it just makes it +2. 4 plus 2 equals, did I get 6? Yes? Yes? It is a solution. So we now discovered this point, 1, -2, is a solution for this equation, whereas -2, 1 was not. Everybody understands how to plug a point into an equation to get a solution. Hopefully so. You have now discovered what two variable equations look like. Okay, so then, here's what we're going to do. We are going to try to graph an equation with two variables. You guys already know how to do this. I'm just going to show you with a little more practice. So we're going to take an example. Please be sure to write this equation down, and there are several steps to follow. So our equation is going to be -2x plus y equals -3. Okay, the very first thing you have to do, if you are going to figure out your coordinate points to be able to graph, remember we did this a long time ago with an XY chart, you first have to solve for y. So in your notes, first step, solve for y. Number one, solve for y. Okay, so let's do that out to the side. This one says negative 2x plus y equals negative 3. I need it to say y equals. So all I have to do is move my x to the other side of the equal sign. Well, we know the only way I can do that is by canceling, right? So I'm going to cancel it by doing the opposite of my x term. The opposite of negative 2 is plus 2x. Whatever I do to the left, I have to do to the right. So I'm going to bring it over here because this is not the same term. This one does not have an x. Negative 3 plus 2x. These cancel. Now I have y equals negative 3 plus 2x. Isn't that what I wanted to be able to solve for y? So I'm going to rewrite my new equation. All I did was move this term to the other side. So here we go. Y equals negative 3 plus 2x. Step one is done. Then step two, we're going to make an XY chart. But it's actually a table, so it looks a little bit different, sideways. We're going to draw a table like this. And then we're going to say our x goes on top, our y on bottom, and we're going to make sure that we always have 5 points. No longer 3, 5 from now on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So please be sure you have this in your EN. Now, we're going to use the same 5 points for x every single time. Okay? Always going to be negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Now, if I know my domain, and you can use these numbers for x every single time, plug them in to your x for your equation, and you will get y, which you will then have coordinate points to be able to make your graph. So, let's do this. I'm going to rewrite, even if you can do mental math, just be sure you get it 100% correct. My first x term is negative 2. Y equals negative 3 plus 2 times negative 2. Well, let's take it a step at a time. Multiplication is first according to PEMDAS. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus 3. 3 plus negative 4 is going to equal negative 1. So where am I going to plug this negative 1 in? I just solved for y with negative 2, negative 1. We're going to do the same thing for all of these points. Super easy, we're going to go faster. So we have 3 plus 2 times negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 3 is just 3 minus 2, which is 1. Then 0. 3 plus 2 times 0. 2 times 0 is 0. I'm left with 3. Then 3 plus 2 times 1 is 5. And finally 3 plus 2 times 2, 4, plus 3 is 7. At this point, do I now have points x and y that I can graph? Yes, if you wanted to write them all out as coordinates, for example, negative 2, comma negative 1, that's fine. Otherwise, that's just an extra step you don't have to do. We are now going to graph. So, you can draw an easy XY chart, or here is mine. Okay, and then we're just going to remind ourselves. Our first one we said was negative 2, negative 1. So I'm going to go over on the x-axis. By the way, make sure that you have an XY chart. You cannot graph this, and I'm checking it on Tuesday. XY chart, okay? Once you have it drawn, label it X. Oh, man. Every time. X, Y. All right, so we said -2, so I'm going to go over -2, down -1. So here's my point, -2, -1. The second point was -1, so over -1 and up 1. -1, 1. Third point, 0 and 3. So I'm going to put my point at 0 on the X, 3 on the Y. Fourth point, 1, 5. There we go. And the last point, oh, I can't see it, is 2 and 7. Okay, very easy. Then the third step we're going to do, we just did it. We plot our points, and finally, we're going to connect the dots. Super simple. Okay, at this point, could we know if this is continuous versus discrete? Well, if I was to continue with my XY chart and it kept going and going and going, this would be continuous. Is this a linear function? Is it a line? Yes, so we can write linear. And finally, is it a function? Can I draw a vertical line and it crosses only one time? Yes, function. Any questions? Hopefully not. Okay, now I am going to let you practice. So I'm going to put 2 on the board. You are going to make sure to write these in your notes because I'm checking them on Tuesday. Once you're finished with the practice questions, we are done with our lesson online. So practice question number 1, this is in your notes. You are doing this one on your own. Y plus 3x equals -2. So the very first step, your reminder, here we go, is to solve for y. That means I need it to say y equals. Well, here's my y. How am I going to get y by itself? We're going to remove everything that's on the same side. Okay? So if I were to remove everything else, I have to get rid of this 3x. To get rid of a positive, subtract it. Cancels. Now I have y equals, and I put it to the other side, minus 3x. So in your notes, it should say y equals -2 minus 3x. Once you have your equation, step number 2 was to make your chart. So in your notes, x, y, how many points did you need? 5. Oh my gosh. I'm not an artist and you know that. So, we always use the same points for x. We start with -2. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. At this point, can you easily substitute in all of your x's for x in the equation? Yes, I am going to let you do this. You have time, so substitute it in, fill it in. Once you are done, you will have coordinate points to be able to graph it. So make an easy xy axis. Label your points. Tell me if it is a linear function. At this point, you're going to want to pause my video. So click pause. Great. Work. Okay, hopefully you've gotten all of this done. You have a beautiful graph. You've labeled it linear or function or not linear or not function. We'll go over it in class. So your second example, number 2, is negative x plus 2y equals 8. Okay, step number 1, you know what to do. Step number 2, you know what to do. Use the same points for x. Once you have it plugged into the equation, you have your coordinate points. You can graph it and tell me linear and function, not linear, not function, or a combination. Excellent. I will see you on Tuesday. You need to show me your notes. Bye. Have a good weekend.